Here's the snap. Mahomes running to his right. Look out, he may run. Mahomes directly. No, throw the end down. Battle intercepted. Picked off in the end zone. Bucs are going to beat the Chiefs. We're the champions of the world, and we still have a minute 33 to go.
Looks left all the way, single coverage, one-on-one. Oh, what a catch! Mike Evans fighting through Benjamin St-Juste for a 17-yard touchdown.
Second down, 10. Rashad White now in the backfield. Baker Mayfield throws a sideline route, outfield. Caught ball to the 5. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Mike Evans does it again. Fire the cannons, Bucs. Running to the right. Irving inside the 10 to the 5. 3-2-1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Bucky Irving takes it to the house. From the 10. Come on, Bucs. 3:27 to go. McNabb dropping. It's intercepted at the 10 to the 20. He's gone. Going coast to coast. Rodney Barber to the 50 to the 40. Barber to the 30. Nobody's going to touch him. Rodney Barber. Here's the snap to Rattler. Here comes pressure. Gets the pass. Near sideline. Incomplete pass. Bucs take the ball away. On downs. Down and 10. Blitz coming. Heineke flushed it. He's sacked at the 41-yard line. That time the blitz pays off, and Levante David has a quarterback sack. Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon. Throws up to the head. Intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25. Derek Brooks all the way. There it is. The dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
As long as we are the most fast, physical team, I promise you we'll like the outcome. Playmakers on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Evans now deploys to the right in the slot. Now in motion. Mike Evans drifts over to the left slot. Baker Mayfield shotgun. They know what we're going to do. Baker Mayfield looks, throws the ball. Caught ball. Evans, he's got it to the 40-yard line. 1,000 plus. Mike Evans, 11 seasons in a row. How about them Buccaneers at number 13?
Hey, we're the Buccaneers. Ho, 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 we're the Buccaneers. Offense, defense. Now we're here to say, make the walk the plank, throw them in Tampa Bay. Bang, 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 bang. Tampa, hey, get Tampa. Hey, I say Tampa. Hey, get Tampa. Hey, we the Bucs. You know they brought the crew, so we gotta turn them up. No matter if we run, throw, the offense on the roll, and the defense can't stop, and they screaming, let's go. Get it, got it, he gone. That boy took that thing down to the end zone. And the only thing on my mind is this Buccaneer time, and I'ma ride. Let's go Tampa, hey, get Tampa.
What is going on, Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans? Welcome to this little mini series that I'm doing on the Frozen Pirate podcast called With the 15th Pick. This is something that I'm going to be doing throughout the season. There's no more football to talk about. The season's over, obviously. Heartbreaking. Buccaneers lacked on defense a little bit. Just a whole plethora of things. If you know, it was a disappointing season. Daniel and myself of Fear the Bay, we talked about that yesterday. We talked a lot about Mike Evans and his situation, Max Crosby rumors to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow, like how that's just kind of unrealistic at this point. I said on last night's show, and if you guys haven't, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and go check out last night's show. We did very well. Views are very impressed with it. I appreciate you guys out there. Smash the like button right now. But yesterday we talked about this on the show, and I said Max Crosby trade is one season too late. They should have did that last offseason. It's a little unrealistic for them to get Max Crosby unless they make a shit ton of cap room, which I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. They could. Unfortunately, I don't really think there's a salary cap anymore. I don't know. There's ways around that, but it's unrealistic. In order to get Max Crosby here, we talked about this. You're gonna have to give up a guy like McMillan or a Buka. They don't want Chris Godwin, and even if you do trade Chris, that's a $50 million dead cap hit, and so on. But make sure you guys go check out that episode from yesterday. Daniel and myself, I think we did a fantastic job. But that was yesterday's episode. This is today's. With the 15th pick, who are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to select? They could easily trade down or up. We don't know. But in the comments, I want you guys to kind of chime in. Let me know who you want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to draft. I have a gentleman in mind. Not too many people are high on this guy, but we're going to break all that down. I want to bring in my guest, JT Olson. I'm going to bring him in a minute, but before you guys do, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Frozen Pirate Podcast, YouTube, follow me on X, Louis FPP, and then the Frozen Pirate Podcast on Instagram. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. March is going to be really fun. Going to be flying back down to Tampa. Shout out to my guy, DJ Ups. We got a really good lineup and a really good set of interviews lined up for the Frozen Pirate Podcast. And Daniel will be joining me of Fear the Bay. So that's something to look out for. And we're going to have a shit ton of content coming out within the next couple of days. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like I said, can't do it without you guys. Appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Without further ado, let me bring in my guy here, JT Olson. JT, what's going on, my man? How we doing?
Doing good. I want to say first and foremost, that intro video is a freaking vibe, man. That thing is cool.
I appreciate it. I'm actually going to be changing that video. I'm going to change the instrumentals because it's kind of getting old. For you guys, it's nice, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just like it's repetitive over and over and over again. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. So there's a gentleman that I'm going to start off with. So with the 15th pick in the 2026 NFL draft, I have the I don't have them. I want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to select David Bailey, Texas Tech. Just to me, this is the right pick. Now, a lot of people think that he's not going to be there at 15th. I believe you're going to have to maybe trade to get this guy. I want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get this guy. I have some videos I'd like to play, but first I want to bring up some statistics on this gentleman. Pretty impressive, man. Pretty impressive. And the reason why I like David Bailey, JT, is anybody can see the consistency there. So 2022, I talked about this yesterday. 2022, 2.5 sacks. 2023, 5 sacks. 2024, 7 sacks. 2025, 14.5 sacks. That's consistency, in my opinion. That's what I want to see. Jason Light and company, a lot of people don't like to hold him accountable. Everybody wants to blame Bowles, and a part of that is Bowles. A lot of it is the players as well. But Jason Light, we haven't really drafted an elite pass rusher since he's been here. Am I wrong on that? Like, is there anybody that kind of comes to mind that you're kind of like, that you thought was like, I think Yaya Diaby's good. I just think that he needs he needs a Batman. I wouldn't say he's Batman. I would say he's more Robin, but he needs his Batman. Who is that here on this defense? 1, 2, where's all the nasty players at? Like, there's a lot of nice guys on this defense. Where's the nastiness?
Yeah, I mean, outside of Yaya, Light really has not drafted a lot of great pass rushers. I mean, Cansey is a great pass rusher when he's healthy, but
Right.
we just really haven't seen him make the investment into the position like I think a lot of us would want. You know, he spent the 32nd overall pick on Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, a player who was a high risk, high reward type of player, great athlete, but pretty raw. The 32nd overall pick, I mean, that's essentially a second round pick. So
Right.
I'd like to see him use this pick possibly on an edge rusher unless Sonny Styles is on the board. You know, because that would be the biggest investment through the draft he's ever put into the position, and it's a premium position.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people are high on Sony Styles. But I mean, and I get it. But I just think that this team really needs a nasty edge rusher, and that guy is David Bailey. I want to play a couple of highlights in the background while we kind of just talk about this. You know, David Bailey. Let me play that right there. This kid. We'll kind of break this down a little bit. David Bailey, he's so fast off the line. Like his first step, like the dude is a monster. And I want everybody out there. I'm going to zoom in on this so you guys can check this out. And again, this video is courtesy of Texas Tech. You know, like look at that. He just doesn't give up on plays. He's number 31 for everybody out there that's kind of taking a look. This is right here. I think this is a guy that will fit Todd Bowles' scheme. I think this is what Coach Bowles needs on defense. Again, 31, coming off the edge, stripping the ball, you know, creating turnovers. That's what this defense needs. They had the interceptions last year. They got to the quarterback a little bit, but just not enough. Like, again, just bulldozing his way, you know, to making the sack. I mean, you know, that's something that the Bucs should be ashamed of right now. Like, there's nobody on defense that's nasty outside of Vita Vea. Jason Light talked about this when Vita Vea got drafted. He said, I want you to play more violent. Well, I don't see anybody being violent on this team. You know what I'm saying? Another video here. Just the way he comes off the edge, doesn't give up on the play. Like, he's a monster. Why wouldn't anybody want him on this team? Like, I just don't understand, like, the way he just shuts down the run. And I get it. There's a difference from college to the pros, but this kid's pro ready. This kid is a double digit. I would say he could rack up 11, 12 sacks in his rookie year, especially playing in a scheme with Todd Bowles. Like, again, just getting to the quarterback very quickly. Like, this kid, it'd be one thing if he played 2 years, but we're talking about a guy who played 3 years at Stanford, and I believe, if I'm not wrong, graduated early, got his bachelor degree early, and he came out and played for Texas Tech for 1 year. Again, just creating turnovers. Like, this is a 15-sack season in his senior year. Again, just getting to the quarterback, not giving up on the play. Do you know how many times I've seen Yaya Diaby, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, all these guys just not being able to get to the quarterback? You know what I'm saying? It's just it's frustrating to watch. I'm not gonna lie. It's frustrating to watch sometimes because, again, this team needs a guy like David Bailey. And I know you weren't really too high on him. And what is your reasoning behind that?
So I have a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I don't think he's going to be a fit for the Buccaneers culture that Jason Light is really adamant about.
Right.
You describe him as a nasty player. I don't necessarily see him as a nasty player, but more just someone who has some issues pop up. I think last year he got ejected for stomping on a player's head. This year he, after a game, got in a fight with a cameraman. Like, these are things you don't really want. They don't really bring anything in terms of like intensity or physicality to the field. They don't bring a level of in-your-face accountability or just the swagger to the team. It's really just kind of a, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know, you don't need that kind of headache. So
when you say
I don't think
when you say he stomped on a player, what game were you referring to? Because I didn't hear anything about that. I heard him with the cameraman.
Yeah, I don't remember what game it was, but he got ejected from the game for that incident. And he wasn't suspended or anything. You know, it's kind of similar to what Ndamukong Suh did. You know, he had a reputation for stomping on players in Detroit. But
That
yeah, he
didn't
just
stop
had a
Tampa from
moment.
bringing him in. That's, you know what I'm saying? It
No,
didn't
that's
stop
the truth.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think, and not to cut you off, but I just think that this is what this defense needs. They need, because honestly, any team that comes into Tampa and plays the Buccaneers defense, there's nobody on that team that's intimidating to me. There isn't. Outside of Vita Vea, you get past that guy, that's it. I mean, we saw the defense. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. There's nobody on that defense that I'm like, oh wow, I'm afraid of that guy. Let's stay away from that lane. You know, to me, again, you bring in, I'm telling you, again, it's just, my opinion. I think this defense needs this kid. He brings juice to this defense. He brings intimidation. And like I said, I'm trying to see something here about him being ejected.
Yeah, I don't know if that was this year. I think that was at its time during Stanford.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything with him being ejected. All I see is all right. David Bailey was ejected for a flagrant personal foul. Let's see when that was. Um, yeah, it was when he was with Stanford. And
Yeah.
yeah, stomped on somebody's head. All right. Um, and I understand that. And can't do that in the pros. Again, we've seen that with Ndamukong Suh. He became one of the most hated players, and I understand that. I feel like I get the whole culture thing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I understand that. Jason Light says, "Oh, I'm going to take the assholes off the board." Well, maybe that's the problem. You got to bring in one guy like say you do bring in, and this is just me. If it's me, I'm going to do my interview process with the prospects and stuff like that. But David Bailey, I again, it's not like he's like this horrible person that a lot of people are making him out to be. He had two incidences, one with a cameraman and one with the stomping. There's a lot of dirty plays that happen during a game that nobody will talk about, that nobody really picks up on. And I'm not making excuses for him because I don't believe in that. But I think you put him in a culture like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Todd Bowles, with those cast of characters. Well, I shouldn't have said cast of characters. But an environment, a family-oriented locker room. I don't think you'll see that anymore from David Bailey. And like I said, he's a kid. Kids, they make mistakes. I'm 38 years old. I've made mistakes. But this is fixable. It's not like a Jalen Carter situation. Now that's bad. With the whole situation. Are you familiar with Jalen Carter, what he did?
Oh yeah, I got a teammate killed in Georgia. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's something I'd be worried about. This kid, I just think that he needs a little bit of guidance. He's not a bad kid. He's actually a pretty smart kid, throughout his college career. Just two little stupid mistakes, in my opinion. I just think that this is what the Bucks need on defense. They need juice. You know, I'd be shocked if they don't take a pass rusher in the first round. Let me ask you this: do you see them kind of going away from defense, or do you think that this is definitely the pick? Like they're gonna go defense, or do you think we're gonna see something crazy like we did last year with the Buka pick?
I think the board would have to fall in a very specific way for them to not go defense. If just all the really good defenders are gone, Bailey's gone, Cassius Howell is gone,
Right.
Keldrick Falk is gone, all the linebackers are gone. I could see them taking someone like Jeremiah Love, who I think is going to be an elite running back. Take pressure off Baker. You don't know his future. Make your offense a superpower. But I would be surprised if that happens. There's good players in the defensive side of the ball in this draft, and one of them is going to slide.
I don't know. I don't know if Jeremiah Love's going to be there, though. 15 is kind of like a gift and a curse I feel like for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a good spot to be in, but to me, they need one of these premier edge rushers. Like we need to, well, not us, but the front office needs to stop ignoring this edge rusher situation. I get that they tried to address it with Hassan Reddick. That was a miserable fail. And I didn't expect that. I don't know if you expected that, but that was a miserable fail on their part. And this is when I say we need to hold Jason Light accountable. Like, why not trade during the trade deadline for an edge rusher? That falls on him. because they knew the issue. Hassan Reddick really wasn't doing anything for this team. He showed glimpses, but I was not impressed. But I think this team needs to go edge, in my opinion. That's the pick, no matter what. They have to go edge. I just have this feeling that we're gonna do the same bullshit over and over. We're gonna just trade back. We're gonna get a bargain player at edge like they always do. They need to really address that. They need a future starter. They need you know, like where's our Simeon Rice reincarnation type of deal? You get what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
feel like with David Bailey, you're gonna get that. He's not the complete package in my opinion, but you put him with a guy like Todd Bowles in that system. Do you think he's a good fit for that system? Do you think he would work in that system, or are you just completely against this 100%?
No, I think in terms of a pass rusher, I do think he'd be a good fit in the system. He's fast, he's explosive, he's agile. I think he can drop into coverage a little bit. I know his teammate Romello Height did that more than he did, because you want your
Right.
pass rusher to be the pass rusher. But in terms of his skill set, I think it meshes well with what Todd Bowles wants to do.
Mhm.
Maybe not necessarily as well as Cassius Howell, who I don't think has as high a ceiling as a pass rusher, but I think he's a better run defender. He's a really good coverage player for an outside linebacker in this kind of defense. But I think in terms of fit, David Bailey absolutely fits in terms of skill set for sure.
Yeah. Let's go to the comments here. Ben Cornett. I got a feeling Jason Light will look. Hold on. These lighters are small. I got a feeling that Jason Light will look for a. He said it. Exactly what I just said. Bargain bin for a defensive end this offseason. Lynch has to get this right with a defensive end this year, whether it's in free agency or the draft. I mean, outside of free agency, let's go to Dr. Rice. Shout out to him, man. Thanks for joining the stream. Not happening. He won't be there. Sorry, bud. A lot of people are saying that, and I get it, but again, this is one of those things where, excuse my language, but Jason Light's got to grow a set, and you got to trade up to go get someone like that. If you want these elite pass rushers, man, you gotta you gotta go out there and make a move. Like you can't just. I can't stand this notion of we have to hoarder our draft picks. It's kind of becoming a curse. We have to hoarder our draft picks. Like, no, you don't. You want to win a Super Bowl, you got to win now. You gotta have the balls and you got to make moves. It's very similar to what the Rams did. Yeah, they sold the farm to go get Matt Stafford and stuff and company, and they won a Super Bowl. You want to win a Super Bowl, you want to win right now, and again, our window is closing quickly in my opinion. We know, JT, Super Bowl windows, they don't stay open for long. Take a look at the 49ers. Their Super Bowl windows closing. Like they had a couple of chances. I as a Bucks fan, this is what I want. Or something similar to this. They just need to upgrade that position in the worst way because again, a guy like this is not only I get it, he's a rookie. I'm not expecting him to, get 17, 18 sacks. That would be amazing. But a guy like this is going to help out Yaya Diaby in so many ways. Because, again, it's easy to play this defense. They have outside of one edge rusher, Yaya Diaby, who I think improved. A lot of people are kind of giving him a little bit of criticism. I don't understand that. But I think he improved from last year, considering the fact that there's not really much on defense. I don't want to ignore the comments here. Cassius Howell for Texas A&M should be there at 15. Maybe trade back, grab tight end. No, stop, Ralph. You're my guy. We're not doing this tight end talk, man. We're not doing tight end. I don't want a tight end here. Ben Cornett comes in and says, if Lynch wants to grow a set, trade for Max. All right. So on yesterday's episode, Daniel Morales and myself, we talked about this. JT, what's your take on Max Crosby? I'd like to hear your input.
I think Max Crosby makes any team he plays for much better. I think
Right.
this is the best defensive line in the NFL if you get Max Crosby.
Oh, yeah.
I also think trading for a 28-year-old edge rusher who you're going to be paying $30 million when you also have to pay your quarterback and probably a $50 million contract, that's a hard business to be in. And I know, the Bucks have one of the best financial gurus in the NFL, but from a logistics standpoint, I don't see how it works. And if you're going to be, way up on the cap like that, you need draft assets to bring in those cheap contracts. So would I love to see it? Absolutely. Because I think, you get a linebacker in the second round and you're ready to make a run. I just logistically, I don't know if I see that being a possibility for Light and where the situation they're in right now.
Right. And like I said, guys, if you guys go up to the top of the comments, I put a link there. If you guys want to join the show, and kind of give your input, again, no nonsense. But if you guys want to join the show, like I said, be my guest. You have a minute and a half to speak your piece, and we'll hear you out. Like I said, and if that comment does not work, if that link does not work, just let me know in the comments, and I will readjust that link. My take with Max Crosby, I'd love to have Max Crosby, but again, like I said yesterday, we're one season too late for that. You could have traded Rachaad White with a couple of picks, and no, to me that's the trade. I like Rachaad White a lot, but I knew he was going to get out of Tampa because he wants to be an every down back. He wants to be the starter. Bucky just outperforms him. He's more explosive. Daniel said it best. Rashad dances too much in the backfield, and that's a problem. So for Max Crosby, I don't think you're going to get Max Crosby in here because you're going to have to – it's going to look a lot like the Khalil Mack trade of 2019. You're going to have to give up 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. And again, Jason Light likes to hoard – he likes to hoard those draft picks. I'll tell you what, JT, if Jason Light was to make that trade, I'm going to go buy a scratch ticket, like a $50 scratch ticket, because like I said, I don't see him making that trade. And if the Buccaneers do make that trade, a lot of people seem to think that, oh, you can give up Chris. You can't give up Chris, because if you give up Chris, the problem with giving up Chris Godwin is you're going to eat $50 million in dead salary, and they can't afford to do that. Now, can they create some space? According to Daniel, Daniel said, they can create a fuck ton, excuse my language, of cap space. I'm sure they can. If it's me, I'm trying to re-sign Baker Mayfield. If it helps with the salary cap number, I'm trying to re-sign Baker Mayfield to an extension now. He doesn't really have anything to prove to me. I think that this team, we can go to the Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield, but the problem with Baker Mayfield is sometimes he plays a little too reckless and he gets himself hurt, and those injuries start to linger on in the season. I think the protection needs to be a little bit better up front, and I think to address that situation, if they want longevity from Baker Mayfield, you got to go. I agree with you. You have to go get another running back, but I think the running back that you got to go get is in free agency. And I think this is going to be a run-first team. I really do. Depending on what happens with Mike Evans, and I'm curious to hear your take on that. But again, this is the way it's looking like to me is they're going to be a run-first team. And to get Max Crosby, you're not going to give up Chris. The Raiders going to want Ibuka, or they're going to want Jalen McMillan. It's probably going to be Jalen McMillan, because they're going to be drafting the quarterback Mendoza, and they want to build chemistry with 2 young guys. They're not going to want Chris Godwin. That's just my take on that. They're not going to want Chris. I heard on the radio down there, I'm not going to say who, that might be having buyer's remorse for Chris. I don't think so. I mean, Chris has gone through some devastating injuries. You get what I'm saying? And we started to see glimpses of him coming back. I think next year, I think he's going to be at full tilt again. I think he's going to be, the Chris Godwin of old. I just think he needed a little bit of time. Ben also says, speaking of dancers, who is the better running back dancer, Rachaad White or Charles Sims? Oh my God. I would have to say Charles Sims. I mean, he just never got nothing going. And that was what? That was the Lovie Smith era too, right? JT, if I'm not mistaken, that was Lovie Smith era.
Oh yeah, that was that range of all offensive players except for Quan Alexander.
Yeah. That was some dark times, man. Dark times. What's your take on Mike Evans? I know this is like the draft thing, but I'm curious to hear your take on Mike. Do you think he's coming back, or do you think he's gonna just say, I want to go win a Super Bowl?
I think
It's
he's
a tough
coming
one.
back.
It's a tough one.
It is because I could see him. If you have a chance to team up with Josh Allen, I mean, you got Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield. There's no comparison there.
Well, Patrick
You got a
Mahomes,
chance.
they created 43 million in cap space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Mahomes is coming off an injury. He's not going to play the first part of the year. It's kind of a rebuild year for Kansas City.
These
Really,
injuries are a little different now, man. They say so. They say so. But again, you're right. Buffalo is. I don't know. I don't know. That team's cursed, man. I don't think they're ever gonna win a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
well, and they're kind of the same as the Bucks. I mean,
Yeah.
their defense isn't good. I mean, they don't have anyone in the middle. You can just run all over them, and the Bucks did run all over them. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, there aren't
So-
a lot of teams who I think are head and shoulders closer to a Super Bowl than what Tampa is if Mike returns. A lot of these rosters need work, unless you're jumping over to Seattle or Los Angeles.
That's what
all
I
these
said.
teams are relatively close.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said the Seattle Seahawks are a team to look out for Mike. They have the cap space to do it. I think they have 63 million in cap.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they have I mean, I know they got to sign Sam Darnold, but again, the salary cap doesn't exist, in my opinion. It's
Yeah.
it's just a little made up thing because they can finagle these numbers and add voided years and all this stuff. I just think that, Seattle is a place for Mike Evans, and another place that a lot of people are not talking about. They got some money. If they wanted to move around, they could do it. Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has never had an elite wide receiver to play with. You know what I'm saying?
True. Mm-hmm.
Nobody's talking about Baltimore. The Houston thing, it's a possibility, but I'm only going to give that 20 to 30%. I think the Patriots are a dark horse. Drake May desperately needs a real wide receiver. I know they had Stephon Diggs, but he's got a lot of legal issues, and I know he's a little heartbroken over Cardi B. And I think that's going to kind of linger on. I mean, they need, me being 45 minutes away from Gillette Stadium, I've watched those games. They desperately need a big play wide receiver, and they don't have that. They don't. And you saw it in the Super Bowl. I mean, outside of the offensive line being absolutely terrible. But let's get back to this draft stuff. So for me, again, I'm going to push hard for David Bailey. I think that's the juice that this Buccaneer team needs. I think he can bring us the statistics. I think he can bring that nastiness back to Tampa because we had Warren Sapp, and Warren Sapp, those two guys they're different, but they're very similar in my opinion as far as personality goes. Because Warren Sapp had some issues, supposedly they were made up. Who knows? I don't think we'll ever know. But David Bailey, like I said, the way he plays is violent. Does he over pursue sometimes? Absolutely. Does he make mistakes sometimes? Yes. But those can all be corrected. I think this is a guy you got to go and you got to go trade up and go get him. If he's available, let me ask you this: if he's there at 12, do you trade up and go get him?
It would depend on who else is there, because if I'm wanting to trade up for a player, it's either Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles, and if either of those are on the board, I would move up for them.
I like Reese. Nobody's really talking about him for Tampa. He's somebody else that I'm going to be talking about in the next episode. I like Reese a lot, and a lot of people don't really talk about him.
I think he's that perfect nasty player you're looking for because he can blow up a guard. Like running backs aren't just afraid of him. Offensive linemen are afraid of him. You do not want to meet this dude head on. And no. I think the only reason he's not getting talked about is I think everyone just assumes he's going top 5. And I think he's so physical and talented and he's mobile and you can drop him into coverage. He looks really natural doing it. We talked about Sonny Styles as a former safety and how good he is in coverage. Arvell Reese is really, really agile. So I think if you got a chance to get him, that's the one you move up for.
He's what we wanted with Devin White. That's the best, one of the best ways I can describe him. He's, but I mean, it's what it sounds like to me, and I think we can both agree with this, is that if the Buccaneers want one of these premier defensive players, it's looking like they're going to have to do the unthinkable. They're going to have to trade up and go get one. I really don't want them to sit at 15. That's just me. I don't want them to sit at 15. If these guys start coming off the board, I think if you're Jason Light and company, you need to make a phone call and you need to go trade up and go get one of these guys. In my opinion, you have to, because we can't go another season watching the defense played the way it played. I can't. Like, again, I don't think I don't think you can put this 100% on Bowles, in my opinion, because again, I don't know many teams, many coaches that can go through a season like that with injuries. And I'm not using the injuries as an excuse because the 49ers made it as far as they did, but they ran into a buzzsaw with the Seahawks. And we knew that game was over when Seattle returned that kick to start the game. That game was over right there. I remember I was downstairs in the garage. I had to go run and grab something, come back upstairs. It's like 17-3 or something. I'm like, what happened? What just happened here? But I don't know, man. I'm nervous that they're gonna do the wrong thing. I'm nervous that I don't regret Emeka Ibuka by any means. I was shocked with the pick, but we heard those rumbles that hey, they might take a wide receiver. They might take one. That's why I'm getting nervous because I see all these like these mock drafts that it shows the Buccaneers taking a tight end, and we've seen this before. I really hope they don't take a tight end in the first round. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm gonna. What did John Gruden say? I'm gonna have a fucking eruption if they take a tight end, man. I am. I'm just because you can't keep ignoring this defense. You know what I'm saying? It's been the biggest problem. I was there in Tampa when they played the Saints. That was horrible. Horrible. Couldn't stop a nosebleed. There were some good things there with Tyke Smith. He's improved. Again, Yaya Diaby improved. But shit, man. It's time. It's time to go get a pass rusher, in my opinion. It's time or get one of these inside linebackers. Do you want to see Levante David come back?
Honestly, I don't know that I do because I know he was playing injured, he said last year, but I don't know how much he has left in the tank. And
Right.
if he's on the team, I want to see him on the field. And that just kind of blocks the pathway from going out and signing a top tier linebacker in free agency or drafting one early. So as much as I
Anybody in
love
mind?
Devontae, I really like Devin Lloyd in terms of free
Yeah, a lot of
agency.
people do. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people like Devin Lloyd. Um, it's going
And
to
the nice
cost
thing about
something.
linebacker, though, I mean, it's a relatively cheap position compared to other ones. I mean, we paid Hassan Reddick what 14 million for a prove
Yeah,
it year edge rusher. You can
yeah,
pay 22 million to Devin Lloyd, make him the highest paid linebacker in football, and you're getting an all pro.
right.
So I think, and getting a guy like that, I think is going to do a lot for the pass rush because it's really hard for a blitz to get home when all you have to do is flip it out into the flats and watch Servassier Dennis fall on his face.
Yeah,
It's whether you're helping the coverage, it helps the pass rush. The pass rush helps the coverage. It all works together. So I think that's where they really have to attack is one or the other. And either way, I think linebacker's the cheaper option. I think that's the move. I think get a top tier linebacker, Devin Lloyd, Leo Chanel. I like Nakobe Dean. There's a lot of good options out there.
yeah. Nakobe Dean's going to cost something. I would not mind Nakobe Dean. I think again, if Bailey's not there, and let's just say they did get Nakobe Dean, I wouldn't mind Levante David coming back, but he can't be an every down linebacker. That's the thing. Like, I think they can bring back Levante David on a really team friendly deal. Um, it's just I don't see Levante being an every down linebacker anymore. That's like, you know what I'm saying? I just
Mhm.
again, that's when a guy like Reese or Styles comes in. If Bailey's not there, as you guys can tell, I really want David Bailey for this team. I'm telling you, like what he can do is is really good. I mean, his first step is again, go back and watch the games, man. This kid was all over the field. He could play the inside, can play the edge. He's a ball. He's all over the ball, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see, let me look up some of his statistics here, so we can see something. I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, it's just he's a proven commodity. Again, and I understand, I get it. The uh the issues, I get it. But for me, I think you can look past some of that stuff. Um, and again, what I'm sold on is the consistency of his career. Stanford, all 3 years, he improved 3 sacks, 5 sacks, 7 sacks, and then again, Texas Tech, he had 15 sacks. That just shows me that he's getting better every year. Um, and again, for me, I think this is the guy that Tampa Bay needs to bring back the nasty for this defense, to bring back some fear. You know what I'm saying? He lights people up,
Mhm.
and he's a hell of a lot. He's a hell of an edge rusher. He can play the inside too. I mean, again, this kid. I get why a lot of people are turned off by some of the issues, but again, it's not like he killed somebody with his car. It's not like, that's not a shot at Jalen Carter. It's just what happened. I did you see like the exact details of like what he said to the cop and stuff like that with that accident?
I did at the time because I do a lot of draft prep and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not. I mean, that's why
Yeah,
he
it's
fell
not.
from number one to almost outside the top 10, and he was the best player in that draft, no doubt about it. He
Yeah.
just, ooh man, that was not good.
No. Why I believe it was for you guys out there that don't know, I believe what was the police report? They asked him, why didn't you help that lady or go see that lady or something like that? His response was what? She wasn't helping me get to the NFL. That's
That's a dirtbag right there.
yeah, that's a shitty human being, man. And like I said, I believe that you can be forgiven for certain things, but you just got to show that you have some remorse and stuff like that. Let's go back to the comments, Ben. Shout out to Ben, man. At this point, I don't trust Godwin only because of his health. Um, I get it, but I just he came off that injury. I think the Buccaneers kind of rushed him back a little bit. I don't know why they did that. Shout out to Leo Haggerty of Amped Up Sports. Him and myself were talking, and we both agreed that I don't think Chris was going to be at full tilt until like October, November. Right. Only team I see Evans playing for is the Bucks. Then the Bucks is the Patriots. I believe they do have enough money to get him. Oh yeah, the Patriots have I think they have 43 million right now just under the cap. Uh, you know,
They're gonna have to spend a decent amount of that though, because they brought in a lot of free agents last year,
yeah,
guys like Kaylavon Chason, who are gonna be due a pretty nice payday this time around.
yeah. I don't think Mike goes to the Patriots because I think the Patriots know what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna trade with the Eagles. I do think they're gonna get AJ Brown. I mean, it's very similar to what Rashad White is doing all since week 14 or 15. And it's not a shot at Rashad, but I mean it's the truth. I mean, he was fantasizing about playing with Jaden Daniels. He doesn't come out and say it, but I mean his according to his Instagram, uh just constant images of him and Jaden Daniels. So we know he's going to be a Commander or a Redskin or whatever they're going to call that team. But again, I just JT, I just want the Buccaneers to do the right thing this year in this draft. And I'm not saying Emeka Ibuka wasn't the right pick because obviously they needed him. They needed him because the injuries just stacked up for the Tampa Bay Bucks, especially at wide receiver. You had two rookie wide receivers starting in Sterling Shepard. So imagine if they didn't draft Ibuka, what that would have had a little bit more losses than I don't even think they would have cracked 7 wins. I think they would have been a lot lower. I think they probably would have had they probably would have only had 5 wins if they didn't draft Ibuka. But again, defense. I mean, we both can agree defense is the pick here at 15. Hopefully they can do the right thing. I want to see them trade out of 15. I want to see them trade up to go get one of these
Well,
guys. They need one of these guys.
let me play devil's advocate with you a little bit because
Sure.
we both agree defense. I think that's definitely the pathway. But to get an elite edge rusher, that's hard to do. Guys like
Right.
Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson, those are number two overall picks. Max Crosby's an anomaly. You don't find guys like that in the fourth round
No.
typically. Really, you don't need an elite pass rusher in this day and age. You can have waves of good pass rushers. So if you get a good pass rusher like Cassius Howell at 15, you can spend your dollars and your draft picks that you would have used to move up or pay a guy. You can use that elsewhere, like linebacker. So if you get a wave of like Cassius Howell or maybe a Gabe Yakis in the second round, guys who are good pass rushers but not top shelf pass rushers, you get one or two of those in the draft. Really, you're just kind of setting yourself up to have multiple looks, multiple fronts multiple waves coming at you, and you're really not making that big investment because it's hard to pay those elite pass rushers. It's a $50 million check right there eventually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, and again, I think the only thing the Buccaneers have going for them as far as that Max Crosby trade that everybody wants to talk about. I mean, I talked about that last offseason. I said that's the trade they have to make. But I mean, again, they're one season too late. There's teams out there that are going to offer much more than the Bucs. There's a team that will offer 3 first-round picks, and I don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to offer 3 first-round picks for Max Crosby. Because again, you're going to have to I do think there's going to be a little bit of a bidding war to go get him. I'm not on board for that. That's just I get it. I had this motto, F those draft picks, but that was last offseason. I don't want to see the Bucs trade 3 first-round picks unless we're guaranteed a Super Bowl. But even with Max Crosby, they still need to reassure the inside linebacker position. There's some holes there. They need to get better depth at the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Because that was horrible last year, that offensive line play. You still need another running back because Bucky's leaving. I mean, Rashad White's leaving. Sean Tucker is no longer under contract. I don't know what's going to happen with him. But you're going to need a couple of running backs to come in here. And you're probably going to need another wide receiver. Not saying that you can go out and go to free agency and spend a shit ton of money on a wide receiver. But what I'm saying is you're going to have to waste one of those draft picks. You're going to have to go get another wide receiver, in my opinion. Because, I don't think Sterling Shepard's going to come back. And again, with the injuries, and we are unsure if Mike – I'll tell you what, if Mike doesn't come back, that changes a lot of things. Do you agree or not so much?
Oh, yeah. Mike Evans is the only outside wide receiver they have on the roster. I mean,
yeah,
Godwin can do it. Ibuka can do it. But they're really more slot players than anything.
Yeah, Buka needs to work on his hands a little bit because there was passes he was dropping. You can't do that. Hopefully he can figure that out. But, I mean, again, if Mike decides to leave, he doesn't owe us anything. He doesn't owe me anything. I've watched 12 fantastic years of a future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Mike Evans is Mr. Buccaneer. A lot of people say that about Derek Brooks. I think that torch has been passed. The guy's been fantastic on and off the field. He's truly, again, Mr. Buccaneer, in my opinion. But if he decides to go somewhere else, I think we'll be okay, but he will be missed. I mean, we still have Godwin. We still have McMillan. We still have, McMillan's I think is primed to have a really big year next year. You still have Ibuka. You still have Tez, and whoever they decide to bring in. But again, they need to address this defense in the worst way. They need I wouldn't even mind if they got a couple of pass rushers in this year's draft. I really wouldn't mind. Chris Braswell is not the answer neither. I'm not impressed with Chris Braswell. What's your take on Chris? Do you think are you impressed with anything that he does, or are you just kind of like he's more of like a depth guy?
No, he's definitely been a disappointment since being drafted in the second round.
Yeah,
I don't think there's much to hope for with him. He's just kind of a warm body at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I like Elijah Roberts, but again, we'll see what happens there. It's just this team needs some serious help. At the front seven's not very good. Savassier too. I mean, I had high hopes for him, but again, it's just. This is what we got. This is what we got to work with, man. And unfortunately, it is what it is. And again, they need to address this edge rusher in the draft. If you were there making the pick, who's your pick? Who's one guy that you're really like, this is the guy that the Bucs really, really need?
I think we've talked about most of them. Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
Arvell Reese.
But you got to put your stock in one guy. Like if you're GM, JT, your GM, who do you got?
If it's me, it's Sonny Styles because he is 6'4", 240, former safety. He moves like a gazelle. He missed one tackle all of last season. Just a really good linebacker prospect, better than we've seen in the last couple of years. And beyond that, his character, his intangibles, they seem like they're absolutely off the charts. You hear this guy interview, this is like Derek Brooks talking in his prime, talking about the charity works he does. He was given the number 0 at Ohio State, which is, it's one of those reserved numbers for leadership and accountability. Just he's an absolute pro's pro before he enters the league. And you combine that kind of work ethic and that kind of mentality with that kind of talent, it just means good things are going to happen.
Right. All right, man. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. I appreciate you coming on and looking forward to you coming on. Because we're gonna be talking about Sony Styles. That's for sure, because this is a new thing that we're doing here on the Frozen Pirate podcast with the 15th pick. So, we're going to go into in-depth stuff with these prospects. And when we're getting ready to talk about Sony Styles, I'll have you jump on, man. Where can everybody find you? What do you got? And what do you got going on?
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate you having me on. I'll come back anytime. It's a lot of fun.
I
But
appreciate it, man.
yeah, all my work's on buckreport.com. All my written work. I'm doing my writing the ship series, talking about things to do in the off season, draft profiles, the fits for the Bucks specific. And then my podcast, the Creamsicle Chronicles podcast. That's been on a little bit of a break lately, because life is busy, kids,
Oh, yeah.
work, kind of thing. But looking to get back into it here soon. Me and my co-host Andrew Harbaugh works for Bucks Wire. We're looking to get back on the grind here, talk about the draft and everything that's coming up.
Nice. I'm going to tune in for that. And like I said, we got free agency coming up. That's going to be an exciting time. I think that's going to tell a lot about what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to do in the draft when they look into free agency. Hell, man, my wish is get Mike back into Tampa, go get Khalil Mack, and go get David Bailey. That would be my dream. I would really like Khalil Mack on this team, even if they didn't draft David Bailey. What's your take on Khalil Mack? Do you like that idea of Khalil Mack coming in?
I love Khalil Mack. I went to a Mack school. I saw him play when he was at Buffalo. Always been a big Khalil Mack fan. If I'm spending the money anywhere this offseason, it's on Devin Lloyd. It's on a top shelf linebacker, and I'll just draft an edge rusher.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming on, man, and you're definitely welcomed anytime to come on the show, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. Appreciate you. JT Olson, everybody, with Bucks Report. Make sure you guys go follow him. Icewater Olson on X, I believe. Actually, you know what? I'll give you his handle right now. So that way you guys can go follow him. Like I said, a lot of good stuff going on Bucks Report. You guys gotta go check them out. Let's see here, because I don't want to mess his name up. Let's see. It's Icewater Olson, exactly how it's spelled. ICEWATEROLSON. I appreciate him coming on, man. He's got a lot of good input, a lot of good insight. And again, guys, this draft, it's probably going to be one of the most important drafts for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in my opinion, because they desperately need an edge rusher. Has to happen. That's just they're not very good off the edge, and I think you need a guy like Yaya Diaby can be a stud in this league. He can be a double-digit sack guy. You just got to go get him his Batman. Or maybe he can be Batman, and you got to go get whatever the analogy is. Who cares? You guys get what I'm trying to say. But again, let me want to show you guys a couple of more highlights of David Bailey and why I like the kid. And shout out to Texas Tech. Again, I don't own any of these videos, but again, it's just pay attention to 31, man. He's a freak. He's fast. That first step. Again, he gets to the ball. Look, 31, not giving up on the play. Look, bring it back. You ain't going nowhere, son. Love that. Love that intensity. Love that intensity by him. Again, lining up, coming off the edge, strips the ball. That's what you need. That's what you need. That's what this defense needs. It's what this defense needs, man, to create turnovers. Look at this. Right tackle just gave up. He's like, I can't handle him. You know what I'm saying? Again, short yard situation on third down, fourth down. This kid's everywhere. He's everywhere. Got another one for you. He's just, again, this is, to me, what Todd Bowles is trying to do, you implement him on this defense. That's can't teach that. Let's go back to that. I want you guys to see that. Check out 31 on the right there. Would be left, but go fast he is to blow that play up. Name one Buccaneer player that does that. You see glimpses here and there, but not like this. This kid's special. There he is again. Bang, just blows that play up. Just blows the play up. Not a bad kid, and I get it. A couple of issues. There he is again. Doesn't give up the play. Discipline in his tackles. Wrapped him up by his feet. That's what you want. Again, boom. Laid his ass out. That's the nastiness that I'm talking about. That's the intensity that this team needs. Again, coming right off the edge. That's what the Bucs need on defense. If he's not going to be there in the by 15, go trade up and go get him. You got to trade up and go get a guy like this. These pass rushers, you want guys like this, you have to grow a set, and you got to kind of. I'm okay with trading off the 15th overall pick and the third pick to go get this guy. He wrecks games. 15 sacks. All 4 years in college played. All 4 years in college he played. Just wrecks games. Look at that. Sit down. Imagine seeing this kid in the pewter and red uniform. Imagine. It would be nice. That's all I'm saying, guys. This to me, this is the pick. This is the pick. You want to trade some draft capital. This is what you trade your draft capital to go get a guy like that. Because again, if it's me and I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm trading to go get him. There's your edge guy. You like JT said, go get Lloyd in free agency if you can. They're gonna have to move some money around. You got to pay Mike. This team can be a Super Bowl team. They just have to make the right decisions. They have to get the right guys in here. And I think David Bailey is the right guy. I mean, look at me. I'm gonna say this before I log out. I understand he had a couple of issues with the reporter. There's two sides to every story, and I'm not condoning that. To put your hands on somebody, I'm not condoning that by any means. But kid made a mistake. How many times? And again, this is why I tell you guys, stop disrespecting these players. They are human beings too. Stop calling them bitches and stop calling them names and all this stuff, because you wouldn't say this shit to their face. But we don't know what happened between him and that reporter. He probably had a bad game, whatever, and I'm not condoning, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but how many times have you lost your shit? How many times did you do something out of character? And you're like, oh, damn, man, I should have never did that. The difference between you and him is you're not in the limelight. You're not in the spotlight. He is, so he's going to be more criticized for what he did. Simple as that. Simple as that. Don't judge. Take a good look at yourself first before you say, oh, he's a terrible guy. Not a terrible guy, just a young kid that just made mistakes. You've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. No off the field issues. Does he have a little bit of a temper maybe? Yeah, but that you can work on that. Nobody said a damn thing when Ndamukong Suh got signed here. And they got rid of Gerald McCoy to bring in Ndamukong Suh. You guys were all going ape shit when fucking Suh would jump in that backfield and he was getting nasty with Aaron Rodgers. That nastiness came out. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, but I mean, you get what I'm saying here? That defense was nasty. And I'm not taking nothing away from Antoine Winfield Jr. I'm not taking nothing away from Yaya Diaby, Vita Vea. I just want to see a more violent defense. See what Seattle did? That's a violent defense. See what the Patriots did? Even they came up short in the Super Bowl. They're physical. That's what you need, man. This kid, he plays violent. And I like it. That's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need. They need intensity. They need a guy with juice. They need a guy that's going to bring nastiness on the field. The NFC South is getting better. It's no longer a joke anymore. The Falcons are going to get better. Do I think they're better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I think as of right now, I think the Buccaneers still have a slight edge in that division, but I'll tell you what, the Panthers and the Falcons are not far away. And I get it, Kevin Stefanski is there, yada, yada, yada. You know how I feel about the trash talking with Baker, what he said. I think it's kind of petty, in my opinion. I love Baker Mayfield, but I think it's kind of petty. I don't think you respond to people that are below you, but I get it if you're upset. And shut the fuck up and just go out there and prove that shit on Sundays. That's it. That's just what I got to say about that. Just go out there and go prove yourself on Sundays. Go give me 4 touchdowns against Stefanski's defense. Go throw 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. I don't care, 2 touchdowns. Show me a perfect game with no interceptions. But we're not going to see that because you need to put together a really good defense. In order for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team to go to the Super Bowl, you got to get an edge rusher. You got to get a serious edge rusher in there. You got to, again, this is a very important offseason for the Tampa Bay Bucs. This is a very important draft class for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because I'll tell you what, if I see another season like I did this year, it's time to clean house. Because it ain't working. It's time to clean house and it ain't working. Time to go in a different direction, in my opinion. They got to get to the NFC Championship game. There's too much talent here. And there's a lot of you out there that are still living on the Super Bowl. That was what, 5 years ago? 4 years ago? This is a new era in Bucs football. It's make or break for Baker, for Coach Bowles, and a few other guys on that team. Because if we have another season the way we just had, time to build a new ship. It's done. It's time to get different personnel in there. Time to get different guys, and you're probably talking about, not a rebuild, but you're looking at maybe a little bit of a tear down. All right, guys, smash the like button. Let me know what you think about this show. Make sure you leave a comment. Again, we're doing this thing with the 15th pick. Make sure you subscribe to the Frozen Pirate podcast. Make sure your bell notifications are turned on. Follow me on Instagram and X. It's the Frozen Pirate podcast on Instagram. Actually, you can see it right there at the bottom with the little sports sticker. And it's Louis FPP on X. I haven't really been posting too much, but it's time, again, like JT says, life, a lot of things going on, life and kids and work and all that stuff. But we're going to make time to really pump out some content. I still have interviews from the last expo I did. Speaking of the expo, shout out to my guy, DJ Ups. Also, this Sunday, 7 p.m., myself, Leo Haggerty, and DJ Ups, we're all going to go live. We're going to talk to you guys. We want feedback from you guys in the comments. A lot of good things that are going to happen here on the Frozen Pirate podcast in March, too. I can't wait. I have a lot of interviews lined up and a lot of good stuff coming for you guys, man. It's going to be fun at the Tampa Bay Sports Collectors Expo. It's going to be fun. Actually, if you go on the Facebook, I'm not really too active on Facebook, but if you go on my Facebook, you will see the lineup for that Tampa Bay Sports Expo. We want you guys to come on down. Bring the kids, bring your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever. Come on down and check it out. Say hello. Shout out to Christopher Wallace, man. He came through, man. He came by and said what's up to Daniel and myself, which was really, really cool. Getting to meet the fans, meeting you guys that listen to the show. And yes, we're going to have t-shirts soon. That's definitely going to happen. I'm just trying to find a really good brand of t-shirt, man, because if I'm going to sell something with my name on it, it's got to be a good quality, man. I don't like those t-shirts that you buy and then after 1 or 2 washes, they're faded. They don't look good. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know this one was a little late, but JT can only do this time, which is all right, man, because guess what? Tomorrow is Friday. Uh, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward for the weekend, man. I'm tired. It's been pretty warm out here. I'm not going to lie. 35, 38. That's warm for us in February. I'll take it, man. But supposedly we're going to get some more snow this week. Not looking forward to it, but it's all good, man, because the weather's going to break soon. And in March, I'll be in Tampa. And it's going to be like paradise. I'm rambling on. I'm tired, guys. Again, guys, I appreciate you guys joining us here live with the 15th pick. This is a little new mini series we're going to do leading up to the draft, and we will be streaming live through the draft. So stay tuned for that. I can't wait. And hopefully the Buccaneers trade up and you hear with the 15th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select David Bailey. We'll see. That's the guy I want. But there's a few others. If David Bailey comes off the board, and like I said, turn your bell notifications on, guys, because we will be going live again this week. With all that being said, put God first, love and respect each other. Peace. We are out. Till next.